Yeah! Let's rock and roll, baby! Yeah! Hey, what's up everybody? It's Scott, the Frozen Gamer, and today we're going to learn how to play this 3 to 5 player trick-taking game, Boom! Xylotar by Chris Wray, not the FBI director, and Bezier Games. So, let's rock on and get to the table. Let's go! So Xylotar has this crazy, unbelievable theme, and this is what it is. In 1985, a polar bear named Bobby McColdsnap saw a concert where the star was playing a keytar, and Bobby got really inspired by this concert and he wanted to become a keytarist. However, his paws were just way too big to fit on the keytar keys. So he had a local artist make him a Xylotar, which is a xylophone guitar. The artisan went missing right after he delivered the Xylotar to Bobby, and because Bobby was a polar bear, the police assumed that he did it. So Bobby went into hiding. We have now found the artisan's schematics of how to make a Xylotar, and we want to make the best one possible by getting the most points in this trick-taking game. Setup is super simple in Xylotar. First, there's 70 cards in the game. Red has the most with 11 cards, all the way down to pink, 4 pink cards, which you can tell because they give you the distribution, number age, on the back side of every card. And the longer the Xylotar key, and the longer the note, the more cards there are of that color. You take all the note cards in the game and you shuffle them, and then you deal them out evenly amongst all the players. In a 2, 4, or 5 player game, every card will be in the game, and red is always the trump color. But in a 3 player game, you're going to remove the orange and red cards from the game, and yellow cards are always going to be the trump. Every player is going to organize the cards from lowest to highest, with the lowest card closest to you on your right, and the highest card furthest away to you and on the left. If you have 2 or more of the same number, it doesn't matter what order the colors are in. Then last, you're going to take the high note card and put it in the back on top of the highest card. Quickly take a look at the cards that you have in your hand and try to remember what some of the cards are, because you are going to take them and pass them to the player on your left. And then you're going to get the cards from your player on the right. This is now your hand for the round. Then we're going to assemble our Xylotar. Everyone will put the high note card on their left, and in order from how their neighbor organized them from the highest to the lowest, spread the rest of the cards out in front of them so that the lowest card in their hand is on their far right. But the big twist is, as you can see, the cards are all face down, and we will not have seen the numbers of any of them. And we have just created our Xylotar, which is our hand for this round. On the first round of the game, the player to the left of the dealer will start. But on the second and third rounds, the lowest total score starts, with ties broken by player left of the previous start player. The start player will lead any card in front of them except for their highest card, and they play it in the middle of the table. Then in clockwise order, everyone is going to follow the lead color, if possible, to form this trick. You can follow with your highest card if you want to, if you're still following the lead card rules. You just can't lead with it. If you do not have the lead color in your hand, like player 4 here doesn't, then you can play any color card that you want, including the trump color, which in this case is red. The winner of this trick is going to be the player that played the highest trump color card. If no trump card was played, the highest card of the lead color wins that trick. If you win the trick, collect the cards in the trick and place them down in front of you. Every other one trick that you have, make sure to offset it a little so everyone can see how many tricks you have won this round. At any time during the round, after you've played your card into your trick, but before the next player goes, call out loud that you are bidding. You will take any 2 cards that are adjacent in front of you from your hand and look at them. As the round progresses, you will make gaps in between cards from ones that have been played. The cards on each side of the gap are still considered adjacent. When you look at two of the cards, you're going to keep one and put the other back in the same exact spot on the Xylotar hand face down. The one you keep, you turn face up and put it horizontally in front of you. This number is your bid for the round and how many tricks you are trying to win this round. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 tricks, so we want to win 2 more tricks before the end of this round. If you haven't made a bid by the time only 2 cards are left in your hand, you must play 1 card without looking at it as your normal play to the trick. And the other card becomes your bid. You'll continue playing like this until all cards in everyone's hands have been played. The last trick, you can and have to play your high card because it's the only card left in your hand. The scoring is very simple. You get 1 point for each trick you have taken. In this case, 6 points. Then you get 5 points on top of it if you matched your bid, which we did here. If you didn't match your bid, then you get 0 points for that matching part, but you still get the points for each trick you got. So we'd still get 6 points compared to 11 points for that round. You play 3 rounds and the highest total score wins. If tied, the player who matched their bid with the fewest tricks in round 3 wins. If still tied, everyone plays another game of Xylotar and add those points to your totals from the last game. Or just consider the game a tie. And that is how you play Xylotar. Let's get back to the table and hear my final thoughts. Hey, welcome back. And Xylotar. I have to say I was quite smitten with this game. When I first saw the cover, I was like totally psyched about it. And then I read the rules and I was like, this game is going to be so random. It's going to be terrible. And then I played the game and I came away just completely enjoying it. The first thing one of my friends said when I opened the box is that the publishers need to rethink the size of the cards as it'll be too hard to shuffle. And I was like worried about that too. But as I first shuffled them, they shuffled really well. And if they were the standard size, as you lay them all out on the table, they'd end up taking up way too much space. So this ended up working out really well. In the midst of an era where we have all these trick-taking games that have crazy new mechanisms in them, like the silent co-op, we have dice, we have the special powers, Xylotar is just a really traditional trick-taking game. It's as simple as the highest trump always wins, or if no trump, the highest card of the lead suit wins. And absolutely nothing extra in that sense. The only twist in the game is that you don't know what number cards you have at the beginning, which at first I was really worried about, that it would make it too random. But what I found out is that it ends up being a very light deduction game on top of your traditional trick taker. You can start deducing your cards as soon as you play your first ones, since they're in line from highest to lowest. You can also deduce what other people have because you see the back of their cards and know what colors they have up towards their high note card and all the way down to their lowest cards on the table, and the cards have the distributions on the back of them, so you can really kind of deduce what they have. And then, like, I may know that someone already played a green 6 this round, and if my second highest card in my hand is a green card, and someone else's highest card, let's say, is a green card, we know one of them's going to be the 7, and one of them is going to be the 5, because the distribution on green cards is 0 to 7. So are we going to take that risk to see if ours is a 7 and play that card? And let's say instead, if the card to the left of our green card, that one card that was left of it, is the aqua color card, which only goes up to a 6. Then we know that our green card can't be a 7, since it can't be higher than a 6. So ours is the 5, and the other player's is the 7. And this takes a ton of the randomness out of the game and adds like the light deduction, which makes you feel really smart when you figure all that light deduction stuff out. And there's going to be times, yes, where you pick your 5th highest card to start the game and it ends up being a 3. And that's pretty random and unexpected, yet extremely hysterical, especially since, like in our game, I knew that when I passed the card that I was passing or passed the deck over, since I got to see him before I passed him to my neighbor, I knew that he had a really horrible hand. And now he knows he has a really horrible hand, though, too, because he just flipped over that 3 in the 5th highest card. And at that point, you're just trying to match your bid for the rest of the hand, because that's where you're going to get your points. And you know when you bid to bid low because you know you have a pretty horrible hand. And that brings us to bidding. And matching the bid is really hard in this game. In our 3-player game, we only matched it one time out of the 9 possibilities that all of us could have matched a hand. And we tried bidding early, we tried bidding late, we tried bidding in the middle of the round, and we just got it the one time, and that was it. And matching a bid is huge in this game. Like, the one time that I matched it, I got that 5 extra bonus points, and that was slightly under 1/3 of my total points for the game. I got 16 points. So that's huge. That's like a huge proportion of where my points came from in the entire game was from that one time I matched my hand. I would have come way in 3rd place if I didn't match, because I didn't play well the rest of the game. The other cool part of the game is that there's a little take that element to the game, and take that being in a fun way, not in like the normal, well, the way I usually think of take that games, which is not too fun. This way it was fun, because once someone bids how many tricks they're going to take that round, everyone else gets to see that bid, and now you can really try to mess up their bid. And once you mess up your bid, your strategy is simply just trying to take as many tricks as you can, because you want to just keep getting a point per trick from that point on. The story of the theme that I told near the start of the video is super cool, but it's really just a story. It's a trick-taking game. It's a trick-taking game, and the theme's just kind of baked on top of it. However, it did allow them to make very simple yet pretty cards that look really nice on the table when they're all spread out, making your Xylotar at the beginning of the round. It also allowed them to make the cards all have different length notes on them per color. So like the red cards are all whole notes, and down to the pink cards, which are all the shortest notes, the 16th notes. And that makes the game extremely colorblind accessible, which was really nice. One of my knocks on the game, besides the theme that isn't really a theme, is the black borders on the cards. One of my cards already has like a random nick on the side of it, and I'll have to like now search to try to find these random sized sleeves for the game, which is then going to make it harder to shuffle with the odd sized cards. It's great to shuffle now, but with sleeves on it, I think it will make it harder than it usually does to shuffle sleeve cards. And those black backgrounds on cards, the black borders on cards, is like my all-time personal pet peeve in gaming. They should have been white to make it so we can't see those nicks, but I know that takes away from the aesthetic that they wanted of that neon colors on the black background for that synthesizer laser 80s look to it. But I do wish they were white borders. So who's this game for? If you only like trick takers that have a lot going on in them, don't get Xylotar. It's not the game for you. But if you want to have like a pretty light traditional trick taker in your collection that you can pull out when you're just in the mood for that type of game, or if you have non-gamers that you play with a lot, then it's perfect. And if you come from a family that plays hearts or spades or euchre or games like that, they'll probably just get a kick out of Xylotar with the blind part to it. And I would highly recommend it for you. It's also a great game to travel with because this is a really small-sized box. It would be a great game to play in like a hotel lobby on vacation. So I played it with 3 players and it worked really well with 3 players. And I'm sure it plays just as good with 4 and 5 players. I can't see how that wouldn't work good with those numbers. And I haven't looked into the 2-player variant yet, so I can't tell you much about that. I wasn't expecting a whole lot from this game other than a cool, goofy looking box cover, and I was just totally smitten with it after playing it. It's one of the few games that I was completely surprised with after playing it in a good way. My final rating for Xylotar is an epic Van Halen style Xylotar solo. Yeah, that means I like it. Peace, and stay cool.